Hello, and a very warm welcome to everyone who's here. Thank you for being here and coming to this insightful and practical talk about mindful eating, which I hope you will find useful. So for those who are with me for the first time, my name is Akcelina Cvijetic, and I'm an international wellness speaker and keynote presenter and a wellness specialist with a particular interest in supporting people to live a more mindful, heartful, and soulful life. So today we'll be focusing on the mindful aspect of life, and really from a perspective of mindful eating. So what is mindful eating, you might be asking? Well, in a nutshell, it really is the arts of presence whilst eating. It's an approach to eating that involves a full sensory experience of the food in the here and now, in the present moment, and also moment to moment as we are enjoying a meal, consciously, mindfully, and without any judgment. So there's been a lot of talk about the mindful eating in the media. There are so many, books written about it because we live at the time and age where there are so many different diets. There are so many, obsessions with weight loss, with, different approaches. And yet, if you ask me what would be the one approach that has been such a game changer in terms of really being like a wonderful research tool that can help you, shed weight more easily and effortlessly, improve digestion, improve fitness, improve every aspect of your well-being, it would be just really eating consciously, eating mindfully. So how do we actually put this mindful eating into practice? Well, first of all, when we're leading our busy, manic, hectic lives, that's almost kind of the last thing we think of, because most of us are so busy that we tend to eat on the go, randomly, as and when we get a chance or opportunity. So really the first thing about mindful eating is about taking what I'd like to call a pit stop in your day. So how the fastest car in the world, Formula One, in order to stay in the race and finish the race, especially as a winner, needs to take that pit stop and to refuel and to do everything that it needs to do to take care of all its needs. This is how our mind, body, and spirit really needs to take that pit stop at regular sets of time during the day to have a breakfast, lunch, dinner. So the first aspect of putting mindful eating into practice is really to have those set times during the day, and then to sit at the table and to eat your meal in silence. And how do we do that, you might ask? Well, by removing all the distractions to our eating. So number one, that means really removing electronic devices, so our phones, and not just putting them away, but putting them on silent. The same with our tablets, with our laptops. If we're reading a book or magazine, that means putting those away, switching off the TV, basically removing anything from the table that would not be necessary for the eating, so that you can be present fully, and when you're eating, you're just eating. And then you can really indulge fully and surrender fully to being in the here and now, in this present moment, and bringing all your senses to have a fully sensory experience. So what does that mean practically? It means that, you take the food in visually. You look at the different shapes, colors, sizes, portions. Then you breathe in the food. You smell it, you take it in. You touch the food, and you touch it with your fingers, you touch it with your lips, you touch it with your tongue, you touch it with your mouth. So you're really experiencing, and then you bite into it, and then you feel all the textures. So the sensory experience actually prepares your digestive system for what's to come, so that it can prepare the right cocktail of digestive juices and digestive enzymes, so it can ensure a good digestion and then good absorption of nutrients and really the full nourishment, which will then optimize your mental performance, but also your physical performance. And then the kernel of the system is really eating slowly and consciously, chewing each mouthful really as many times as necessary. And I know different school of thoughts will say 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, but to simplify it, it's really allowing the food to turn into a liquid. So then it just slides down your throat and into your digestive system. And one simple tip here is like to really put your knife and fork down in between the mouthfuls whilst you're chewing, to give yourself that opportunity to really chew and eat slowly. And then also throughout this experience, before you start eating and then halfway through and towards the end, you're constantly checking in with your body in terms of your hunger signals and satiety signals. So you actually take a rating, a subjective rating on a scale of 0 to 10. How hungry do I feel at the beginning of the meal, halfway through, and then towards the end? So you can really hear those messages of satiety from your body. Am I still hungry? How satisfied am I? Am I getting satisfied? Am I full? And then not overriding that. Because very often we can do that, and instead of even waiting until we are full, we can focus on that pleasantly full, so that we then feel really comfortable and we've got all the nourishment we need. Otherwise, we will override it and we will overeat, and then it affects the weight, the energy, the focus, the concentration. So, and then the next thing is really about, eating healthy food, nourishing foods, sustainable food. So things that can really, really help us on that level. So if this is mindful eating and how you put it in practice, what is mindless eating? Well, that's basically when we eat anytime, any place, anywhere. We don't sit down, we eat on the go. We really eat so fast, like clappers. And really, we are not focusing whether we are physically hungry or emotionally hungry. And a very simple difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger is that emotional hunger comes on quickly, and physical hunger comes on gradually. So it's like, feeling a bit peckish. I could eat something. I'm getting more hungry. As Winnie the Pooh would say, it's rumbling in my tummy. So really, and the emotional hunger comes when I'm feeling angry, or when I'm feeling sad or bored or stressed or upset. It just comes on suddenly, and I need to satisfy it. Mindless eating is also when we're eating and multitasking at the same time, and also when we override the satiety signal. So one really helpful tool going forward is having your daily mindful eating checklist. This can be just literally a checklist that you go through, or it could be a journal that you keep. And you start with 5 senses. So what do I see? What is the odor, the shape, the size, the color? What do I hear when I'm actually chewing the food? What is the texture? What do I smell? So what is that, the beautiful aroma that I can smell, or even the odor of the food? What is the taste? Is it salty? Is it sweet? Is it fatty? Is it bitter? And this is a really important one. And I ask people to go for their favorite restaurant or their favorite takeaway food, whether it's Chinese, Indian, Japanese, it doesn't matter. And to really, when they eat consciously and mindfully, they will notice if the food is too fatty or too salty. And it doesn't mean it will put them off their favorite food. It will just mean they will eat just the right amount. They will not overeat it. So this is why this is really the most useful tip and simple tip that you can follow for easy and effortless weight loss. And then also feeling it with your mouth, with your fingers. How does food feel inside the body? So that's the 5 sensory experience. And then just that checklist. Am I eating mindfully or mindlessly? Am I eating fast or slow? Am I just sitting and eating, or am I eating and multitasking? Am I physically hungry or am I emotionally hungry? You know, where am I on the hunger scale? Where am I on the satiety scale? Am I eating randomly or at the same set times? So these are the things that you can actually do yourself in terms of all the things that can really help you, just as that very simple checklist. And now I thought for the end of our presentation, or the really practical part, I'd like you all to get a raisin or a grape or a berry or a small piece of chocolate, and to really experience with me. If you don't have it now, then I would really invite you to do this later on, to really demonstrate that you can get a maximum satisfaction when you engage in this fully sensory experience and fully savor just one mouthful. So the first thing you do, you take a raisin or whatever you decide to experiment with, you put it on your palm, and then you really visually just explore it, examine it, and you just look at it from all angles, and you just see, what do I see? What does it look like? And then the next thing, you take it in your fingers, and then you really feel it. It's like, what does it feel like? You know, when I touch it, when I squash it. Then you take it to your nose, and then you really, with your eyes closed, just take in, you breathe in that smell of a raisin. And then you bring it to your ear. And then you really just, notice what you notice. What do you hear when you bring it there? And then you put it on your tongue. And you just explore it with your tongue. You don't bite into it. And next, you really roll it around the mouth. And you just notice what you notice. You notice perhaps more saliva being produced as you do that. And then, as you do that, you now start deepening the experience by rolling it in your mouth a bit more, so that all the taste buds can get engaged. And then you take just one conscious bite. And with that one conscious bite, you notice what you notice. Perhaps just that sudden burst of flavor. And then you start chewing it slowly, like really slowly. And you really focus on the texture and how the texture changes, how the taste changes, how the size changes, how you're feeling all these different bits of it just disintegrating and bursting with flavor in your mouth. And because I'm mindful of the time, this is something that, by the way, you can eat one raisin for 5 minutes or even longer. And now, as you are biting into it more and more consciously, and still slowly, you're eating it and taking it in. Only then, when you really feel it, that it's turning into a liquid, just one little raisin, you swallow it. And you just feel, are there any bites left? And you notice that even though you swallowed it, because you've eaten it slowly and consciously, mindfully, you can still have the taste linger on, and you can really feel that full satisfaction from just one raisin, from just one mouthful. And this can be one mouthful of any food that you have taken. And I hope that this has provided you with